Okay, you guys, this is Kali in retrospect. Clearly I've been crying. This video I'm very vulnerable, very sad. Please don't judge me. Yes, I do realize it's a cat. Trust me, I do. He was a person to me. He was my person. So if you have anything negative to say, keep it to yourself. Don't watch this video. I don't care. For all of you out there that do support me and love me and are my actual friends, thank you for doing this with me. I needed to get it out in a very real way. I tend to be one who keeps all my pain and sadness inside, and I didn't want to do that this time. Also, if you are also suffering with a pain of loss in your life, then you may not want to watch this because it's very real, very raw, and very sad. So okay, I just wanted to give you guys that little intro because this is probably the most real I've ever been and the most vulnerable I've ever been. You guys don't have to say anything in the comments. You really don't. You don't have to like this video, nothing. This was more for me to just get out there and have for myself. Okay. Hey guys. So I think I am, man, maybe I'm not. I think I am ready to tell you guys what has happened the past week of my life. I know I posted a couple kind of sad videos in the beginning. I'm sorry for that, but I really needed that for me personally, just to kind of distract myself from life. Like I said before, no, I'm not wearing any makeup. I'm not even wearing my skincare for the day. I'm not ready to put on makeup yet because I know I'm gonna cry and then it's gonna mess up my makeup for the day, and I do want to film today. So today's Saturday, the 24th. So the 16th, so today is Saturday the 24th. On the 16th of August, which was Friday, I had set my cat up for just a regular checkup. He didn't seem to be eating his hard food, but he would eat soft food. And he was just acting kind of strange, just not his normal outgoing crazy kitty cat self. You guys have seen him a ton on my channel. He always has to barge in the room. There was even a Shop My Stash where he spilled over my perfume container during filming, and I screamed and it went everywhere, and then I had to clean it. It was great fun. So you guys have definitely seen him around here. His name was Mantis, and I do say was. So Friday in the morning he had a drop-off appointment, which is just how my doctors do it. Or my vets, they have you drop off your animal, they look at them, they do whatever they need to do. So he called me, the vet, and he says, well, his teeth seem to be having a little bit of tar on them. I think we should do a teeth cleaning. And I'm like, okay, it's gonna be kind of expensive, but that's okay. He said, but he seems to be quite underweight. Has he been losing weight a lot? And I'm like, yeah, you know, he has been, you know, getting quite skinny. I was like, but I think it's because his teeth and him not being able to eat his hard food. but I have been offering him soft food. He liked human food so much. Like, we have a couple videos of him like wanting porterhouse steak from my husband. I don't eat steak personally, but he does, and Mantis loves it. And he would always steal my turkey from sandwiches too. So that was funny. Anyways, so he called me and he says, well, I'm gonna do a blood draw, and I'm going to call you back just to let you know if we're gonna go ahead with it or if we should wait for another time, and we'll just go from there. And if we can do it today, do you want us to? And I said yes, because I don't want his teeth to hurt anymore. That sucks. So he called me back, I would say like 45 minutes, maybe an hour later, that he had gotten the blood draw. And I could just tell in his voice that something wasn't right. And he says, based on his blood work, we're not going to be able to do his cleaning today, but we put in like all the different blood stuff. And if you don't know, the three like big things for cats, they do creatine, they do BUN, which is blood urea nitrogen, and phosphorus. And like they do those levels to make sure everything is good to go. When they do teeth cleaning, that means that they'll be okay under anesthesia, that it'll all work, that they'll actually fall asleep under anesthesia, stuff like that. And that their body will be able to push the anesthesia out of their system when they're ready. He said that his numbers were basically off the charts, and he was like, you know what, I didn't know if it was correct, so I took another blood draw and I did it again. And I turned the machines up so we could get a real reading. I have the paper over here. So you guys do know that I am in the medical field. I'm not a nurse. I don't look at blood levels. I don't blood draw. I do x-ray. So I'm in the OR a lot. I'm in the work area. We do portables. We do GI patients, which is butts and guts is what we call it. So I have his paperwork for his lab tests. His lab tests showed that his phosphorus had to be at a normal level for cats. This is all for cats reading. Would be a 3.1 to a 7.5. He was reading at 20.3. That's like 3 times over what he should be to be on the high end. I'm sorry guys, I'm gonna pull my nose a lot. So the next level that he told me about was the creatine. And creatine usually is a very, like you want it to be a very, very low level. His creatine, to be in a normal range, should have been from 0.8 to 2.4. So very low. His was at 10.3. So once again, like 5 times over the limit that it should have been on the high end. And then the one that really scared me the most, sorry. Sorry, I'm pretty ugly crier. By the way, he did have us, he said that we needed to come in after I had talked to him on the phone and said that his labs were above the limit. He said that we should go in and talk to him. So this was all being told to us like face to face with the numbers in our faces. So the BUN, the blood urea nitrogen, to be at a normal level, it was supposed to be between 16 and 36. The first time he did the blood draw, it said greater than 130. So then he said he wasn't sure if something had malfunctioned, whatever. So he turned the machine up so it would read up to 200. And he did another blood draw. And the second one came out at 189. And when he told me that, I knew. Okay. I'm sorry. So today is August 16th. And we found out that Mantis is in renal failure, kidney failure. I'm really upset about it, obviously. We're gonna give him everything he wants today. They said that he could just pass in his sleep. We don't know how many days we have with him, but we have to just watch him. The vet doesn't seem to think he's gonna have more than a couple days, so. He's been my best friend for 10 years. He just got it. He just had his 10-year birthday, August 6th, 2019. Oh, Mantis. He's just eating away. Love you, sweetie. Okay. So basically, I knew it was his kidney or his kidneys, like I said, because I am in the medical field and I know what that means. But my husband was very confused and he said, is there anything we can do? And he said, the vet said, basically we could go up to emergency care and give him an IV. Or we could seek out somewhere to do dialysis, basically, like cat dialysis. Both of which would have been very temporary because his numbers were not slightly high. They were off the charts high. He said that he has never seen numbers this high in his entire career, and he's been working as a vet for 25 years. So that just basically told me that we would be delaying, we would be extending his suffering if we did either of those things. Not that we didn't want more time with him, because we did. And he said it would cost us thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for possibly a few days extra. And as much as I would give anything to have him back, he wouldn't have been back in a good way. He would have been very, very sick. We basically picked him up on Friday after we talked to them, and he said that we would probably have to put him down because he would start to go very quickly. He was already showing signs, obviously, with the weight loss, and you guys saw on my Instagram I posted a video of him drinking out of the toilet, and they said that that was one of the signs because they get very, very thirsty when their kidneys start to go. Which I didn't know. I've never had a cat with kidney problems. He's been my buddy forever, so I've never seen anything like that before. So He basically said which days he would be in the office over the weekend and the next week whenever we were ready. Don't make an appointment, just come in and talk to him and he would make sure he took care of us. Which basically told us that he was gonna have days, not like weeks or months, days. And that was the hardest thing to hear, is that I wasn't gonna have enough time with him. You guys have to understand that I got him when I was 16, or no, 18, I'm sorry. I got him when I was 18. I was living in an apartment with my mom. He was mine. He was my friend. He was my cat. I had lost a lot of friends from high school just from a falling out. I didn't have a lot of people that I hung out with outside of work. At the time I was working in restaurants, so I was home all day with him, and then I would go to work at night and then he'd come and cuddle with me all night. He was mine. Even when I was dating David, I would drive over here to where I live now, to David's house, and he would come with me. He was the best little car rider. He would literally ride in the driver's seat on my lap, cuddling the whole time. He wouldn't ride in a crate. He would freak out in a crate, so I never put him in one. It was just the best. I went to work on Saturday thinking, well, maybe they're wrong. Maybe we'll have like over a week, and he doesn't seem too bad. He's still eating, he's still drinking, he's still pooping and peeing. Like, he's still, you know, trying to act himself, just a little bit off. So I went to work on Saturday. My lead that day saw that I was struggling because my husband had told me many times. He called me and he said, Mantis is not doing good. He's laying around, he's not moving, he's not eating, he's not drinking, he's not doing anything. So my lead could see that I was struggling, and she sent me home early, thank God, because I got that much extra time with him. That night he started hiding in the basement, which really scared us because we thought that he was gonna just go by himself in the cold basement. That's, you know, not really his place. His place was always in our room, on our bed, under the covers. So we found him in the laundry tub a couple times. We brought him up, hoping that he would just stay around us and get as much love as he could. We gave him treats and stuff, and finally on Sunday he wouldn't eat anything. Nothing. Not soft food, not treats, not catnip, literally nothing. Not even people food. He wouldn't drink. He peed one time on Sunday, that was it. I laid down with him a lot all day Saturday and Sunday, just cuddling with him and holding him and loving on him, telling him how much I loved him, telling him it was okay, that, you know, it wasn't his fault, it wasn't our fault. God's ready for him. I do believe that, you know, animals go up to where we go when we pass because they're our friends. They're our loved ones, they're our family. Especially Mantis. He is like not a normal cat. So finally, I woke up in the middle of the night on Sunday night to Monday, and I had called off on Sunday from work. I woke up Sunday night to Monday, and he had been hiding in the closet, and I checked the closet and he wasn't in there. So I went down to the basement to look in the laundry tub, and he wasn't in there either. And I finally found him on the table downstairs on like some clothes I had been folding the day before. Just sleeping and just looking so miserable. He was so miserable looking. He was just not, he wasn't him anymore. My husband got up before I did that morning. That was like 1 in the morning. So I went back to sleep. my husband got up before I did, and he went down there and checked on him, and he said the exact same thing. He came up to me and waked me up, and he told me that he thought he was ready. And I said, I know, I checked on him overnight. I thought he was ready too. So on Monday morning, I called off work that day too, because we knew that was the day. So this was literally from Friday, 3 days later. So Friday the 16th to Monday the 19th. We had 3 days with him. So I called up to the vet and actually made my husband talk, because I couldn't even talk anymore at that point. So he made an appointment for him that morning. That way we didn't have to see him suffer all day. He was suffering at that point. He had just started. Before that, we could see a little life in him. He looked into my eyes. And then finally on Monday morning, I made him look at me, and he just told me he was done. He hadn't given up, but his body did, and he was ready. So I told my husband, I asked him, should we tell Carter, my 7-year-old son, you guys know Carter, should we tell him that Mantis isn't gonna come back? Or should we just say we have an appointment and we'll see how it goes? And we both kind of agreed that that wasn't right, to not let him say his final goodbyes and to properly grieve over his bud, because Mantis was there before he was. Mantis is 10, or was 10, and Carter's 7, so Mantis has been there his whole life. So Carter said his goodbyes for about an hour. It was really hard to listen to him cry. I was trying to be strong, so was my husband. So we took him over to my husband's dad's so that he wouldn't have to come with us, and we took him up to the vet, and they were very understanding. We took him in his favorite blanket. If you guys have seen any of my KonMari method like clothing things, I have that big kitty cat blanket on my bed. That was his blanket, because I've had that from before he was even born, and that was always his favorite. So we brought that with us so that he could lay on that. So anyways, they explained the procedure to us, and put the IV in his arm. So we said our goodbyes, we said a couple really nice prayers. And he just looked at me. Freaking car. He just looked at me like he knows. He's okay. He just stared at me in my eyes with his little kitty eyes. And he told me it was okay. He told me that he was ready, and that I should be too. My husband always said that me and Mantis had a connection that he's never seen with a human and an animal before. He always said how weird it is that, like, just by Mantis's meow, like sometimes like the pitch of his meow, I knew that he needed his box cleaned downstairs, or I knew he wanted a tuna fish from the pantry, or I knew he wanted to go outside and play. Like, and it was funny too, because like I'd get home from work sometimes and I'd be super tired and I'd just yell, "Nap time!" I didn't even have to say anything, and he would come running. This little paws on the floor and just come running. And he would come and nap with me. snuggle up right next to my face. So it was like 9:30 when we said, okay, we're ready. And the doctor or the vet came back in and they gave him a couple injections and listened to his heartbeat. And that's where my husband really broke down. I've never seen him break down like that before. My husband really loved him too. Everybody did. Everybody came over on Friday to see him and to say their goodbyes. Friends and family, and everybody loved him because he was such a good cat. He was friendly to everybody. He only scratched you if he was scared, but he didn't even mean to scratch you. He was just holding on for dear life. Unless I tried to give him a bath with me in the shower. He didn't like that. So they asked us if we wanted them to keep his body. And I had already arranged for a pet funeral home to cremate him. So I picked him up yesterday, and I was okay picking him up until I got in the car. And it was like I still had him with me. I'm sorry. Okay. So at my specific cremation place that we chose, they give us a couple different things in memory of him. So they do like an ink paw print. So that's what it is. It says, best friends come into our lives and leave paw prints on our hearts. That's exactly what he was. He was my best friend. Even though he wasn't a human, I don't have a lot of people friends that I hang out with outside of work, outside of life. Like in my real life, I don't have a lot of people. A lot of people have screwed me over in life, and kind of let them go, you know? So they also do an imprint in clay. So we have this clay imprint with his name on it. So that's his paw print there, and then his name printed in over here. So, and then I have his urn. It's just like a little wooden box. Nothing special. And on the bottom is where we got him cremated, and it says cremated remains of Mantis, and then his cremation ID, and then the date, which was August 19th, 2019. And it says beloved pet of the Fabishevsky family. And then you can open it up, and it's not like a bunch of ashes that are just floating around, which is what I was kind of thinking. And his ashes are all in a plastic bag in here, so. We put up a little display in our living room, like a little shelf, kind of like the one I have up here. And we're gonna put pictures of him, and I have his urn up there, and then the two other things that I showed you. And I have his kitty bowls. So, that's him. So that's what's been going on in my life. So Monday was a very hard day. My husband couldn't get me to eat anything on Sunday or Monday. So my stomach, because of stress and everything, is just like all over the place. And then Tuesday I wasn't ready to go back to work. I wasn't ready to talk about things, and I wasn't ready to listen to people's stupid problems that don't matter. Not that mine matter more than theirs, I'm just saying. So I took Tuesday off too, and then Wednesday was my actual day off. So I had some time to myself and with my family to think about him and remember him and keep him in our hearts. So I've always wanted a tattoo with my son, and I've always wanted like a black cat tattoo because of everybody's like, not everybody, some people are super superstitious about black cats and they're evil and all this other crazy stuff, and Mantis was the furthest thing from that. He was the most amazing friend, amazing kitty, amazing family member. So as much as my husband was pissed about it, I did go and get a tattoo with his name, so Mantis with a little paw print. It makes me smile every time I see it because I think about him and how happy he made me. I really miss him greeting me at the door and looking all pissed off when I leave for work. Like, how dare you, Mom, leave me? I really miss him cuddling anytime I lay down. He would literally, like, I'd be reading a book and he would be in my way of reading my book. I just really miss him. Yeah. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys. I'm kind of glad I waited, but I'm kind of glad that I got this video over with. Now I have to edit it, which is going to make me cry all over again. I'm trying to move past this. But I feel like something so consistent in my life every single day that was always there for me is not anymore. It's just very weird. It's like when my best friends from high school just decided not to be my friend anymore. It's exactly how I feel. Only he was never judgmental of me. Ever. He loved me no matter what. Even when I was mad at him for getting on the table while we were eating. Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna stop crying. I'm gonna put on some makeup. I'm gonna try to have a somewhat normal day off.